Let's go build a PC. It's another day and it is another build, but today is kind of a special day because, as you've noticed, we're actually not in our studio. We are at the Santa Clara Micro Center and I am going to build a PC at the Knowledge Bar. We actually went and set up this really nice looking studio here at the Knowledge Bar in Santa Clara because we set up something we're calling the Build Experience. This is an area where content creators can come and shoot content here at the Knowledge Bar, or we could do some of our own video content, which is what we're doing today. So I'm actually adding a couple of extra lights here. I'm stuck up here, but I'll see if I can hop down. All right, so we went with Nanlite, and I like Nanlite a lot because they are easy to use. These are COB lights. I have two with softboxes, two with just the reflectors, just for like hair light. This is where we're going to be shooting content with influencers or whoever wants to come on by and do content with us. We have this really nice looking area, and it's almost as nice looking as our studio. So let's break it in and let's do some builds.
Make sure to stay tuned to the end of the video for a special guest appearance by Jay's 2 Cents.
Today's build, I kind of went all out because having our studio set up here in the Micro Center store, I gotta say, impulse control was a little bit difficult for this one. I knew going into this build, we were going to use the AMD 9800X3D CPU, king of gaming CPUs, and it's gonna be really, really great because I wanted to do a gaming build. Then I started shopping around for parts and things kind of got out of control. I wanted to use the AMD bundle, which is with the 9800X3D motherboard and RAM, but then I saw this really gorgeous looking MSI Mag X870E carbon Wi-Fi motherboard. This thing looks so nice. Less of a spec choice, more of an aesthetic thing, because once I saw this, I knew, okay, we're gonna go all out. We're all the way over here in California. Let's make a really great looking gaming PC. Pair off with this really nice looking motherboard, I went with 64 gigabytes of Vengeance RGB memory from Corsair. So RGB, kind of a crucial component here. And there's going to be a lot more RGB to come. For storage, we have a SN850X. Now that's going to be a really good starter for your operating systems and applications. That's enough space to keep it there. I wanted to have a separate drive where we can keep all of our games. What I use is an 8 terabyte SN850X. Now we did a video about this, and I have about 4.5 terabytes full with my full game library from Steam, Epic Games, GOG, Blizzard, every other launcher that you can think of. It's only half full, but that just gives me more headroom to keep buying games, and I'm definitely going to try to fill this up. So that's what I want to do with this build. I wanted to have a crazy big SSD that we can use to store all of our games. Now this is the heatsink variant, but you can get the variant without the heatsink, so this will fit in just fine with everything else we have in this build. For our GPU, we went with an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5070 Ti, and that's going to give you 16 gigabytes of that GDDR7 memory. And I went all out on this one in terms of aesthetics because this is the MSI Gaming Trio. I really like the way this card looks, and it's going to go great with this motherboard. Also went with MSI for our power supply. This is the Mag A1000G, so this one's going to be perfect for us. It has that ATX 3.1 with that 12-volt 2x6 connector that we can use for our GPU, so that's going to be an easy one. For our cooler, I went with the Lian Galahad 2 LCD. This is a favorite of mine. I really like this one a lot. It's going to look great, and I figured if we're going to do LCDs, let's go all out. LCDs on all of the fans. So I'm going to try to get 6 intake, 1 exhaust, all LCDs. This is going to get a little out of control. Now for our case, we're going to be going with the Lian 011 Dynamic Evo RGB. Okay, so I'm doing all of the prep that I need to do for this build and opening everything up. Now, one thing that I'm noticing here is that our main operating system drive is going to go right under this heatsink. The issue I have is that all the other NVMEs are going to go under this heatsink here, except I have a drive that has a heatsink on it. So I'm going to see if I can take this heatsink off. Now, this is actually pretty straightforward, and fortunately I should have the right bit for this. My iFixit screwdriver kit here. Now, we wanted to feature this drive specifically in this video, but we didn't have the non-heatsink variant available. And I wanted to challenge myself to see, can I get this thing shucked open? Fortunately, this little minnow kit actually comes with a wide variety of bits, and sure enough, it has the right one. Looks like there's 5 screws in total keeping this thing together, so I'm just going to take this apart. This is why I like my iFixit screwdriver kit, because this gets me out of so many pinches, even though I kind of get myself in those pinches to begin with. Ooh, there we go. Fortunately, it came off pretty easy. I had the bit that I needed with my iFixit screwdriver, and what's interesting about this heatsink is that it just goes right on top, and there's this little plastic piece. It amplifies the little LED that's located right there. So you can see it's on when it kind of pops up on here. So I was actually really curious what was going on under the hood of this heatsink, and you got some nice thermal pads that go right there, so everything's going to be kept nice and cool. But that was actually kind of cool, because I thought there was some sort of electronic in this heatsink, because, you know, I have this variant, and this turns on when it's on and working, but it's just a little lens that amplifies it on this plastic piece. There we go. Peels right off. So I wanted to do that first before I got everything else started. But that was really easy to do, and if I ever want to have the heatsink back on there, I mean, this is really easy to put back together. I'll just keep this together on the side. The heatsink is really good if you have a PlayStation 5, and you can use this 8TB drive with a PlayStation 5, but since I'm not using it with the PlayStation 5, I don't need it. So I'll put that on the side. There we go. So obviously, I'm a very big fan of this CPU, right? It's got that expanded L3 cache, so that's going to do you really well for gaming. I mean, really, it is the king of gaming CPUs. 9900X3D and the 9950X3D CPUs are really good, and they're more balanced for gaming and productivity. But if you want to save a couple of bucks, and if you really know you're just going to be gaming around the clock, well, 9800X3D and the 9800X3D bundle really is the best bang for your buck. There's always a diagram on most motherboards that's going to tell you A1, A2, B1, B2 slots, and you prioritize the A2 and B2 slots. There we go. And like always, do this on the box, because look at that pressure I have to do just to get that in there. So that one's all set. This heatsink right here actually has a little latch on the side. You just push, lift, it comes right off. Let's see, is there, yep, there's a little peel action going on here. Now I'm just going to install this pretty easy, just goes in at an angle. And this, I like the quick latch on this one. Oh, the quick latch on this is actually really, really nice. Super simple. Little plastic peel up here on top. Just going to peel that off for our heatsink. Now, this one's interesting because this has this little connector here. So this connects to the motherboard, and I'm assuming there's some RGB in the heatsink. So I'm really glad I went with this. It's these little extra details that make it look really nice, but it's going to connect right over here. On the motherboard, there's a little connector. So that's actually kind of cool. Slides right on, slides right down. There you go, locked into place. You just push, and it just lifts right off. I really like that a lot. We have our thermal pads on both sides because I want to make sure we are dispersing any of that heat. There we go. This is an interesting little quick latch. It's kind of like a little doorknob looking guy that you can sort of flick around. That's kind of cool. Just here. So it's really just kind of a slide and a click. And there we have it. I want to get this hardware onto the motherboard. This is what we're going to mount our AIO to. And easy peasy. So we came out to Santa Clara because we wanted to do some videos with Jay's 2 cents. So he was here this morning. He did a PC build. He was doing his video. We were hanging out for a while. We're doing a couple of videos together here in the store. And then we thought, since we're already out here, let's take advantage of the situation and do a couple more videos. We wanted to do a build and a couple of other things that you'll see soon. I'm going to get our motherboard installed. Just slide this right in. So what I really like about Lianli specifically, they always give you this little tackle box for all of your screws, which is always appreciated because it definitely makes organization way easier. everything is all set there. Now I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to get our power supply cables run first before we start getting the AIO going. Radiator is going to go in this space right here. This bracket actually comes off, so it's going to be pretty easy to get the radiator going. Getting the fans going, all that, it's going to be pretty straightforward, but I just want to start running at least the CPU power up here. It's going to get a little bit crowded. So let me do that. I'm going to pop this guy right up. So this is Nick. He's one of our BYO associates.
Again, my name's Nick. I am from BYO at the Santa Clara store, and I'm happy to be here with you today.
All right, so remember we were talking before about the 8TB SN850X?
Yes.
Here you go. Check that out.
So you got it apart here.
Yeah, I told you I was a little worried about it, but it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the SSD in there, so you got it.
Check this out.
Still working-ish.
Yeah, it's right there. It's naked, but it's fine.
And you have that heatsink on the motherboard shroud too.
Yep. Oh, you know what? It's a good thing I pulled this off. I pulled the wrong sticker off.
Oh no.
That's okay, it happens. So what are some tips you would give someone if they're looking to do their first build? What are some of the things that you look for to help someone out?
Well, the main thing, the most important thing is to make sure you have a case that you can actually fit your hands in. Because if it's a tiny case, you have large hands, even this case is probably a struggle for you. So as long as you can get a case that you can actually work with, especially with the PSU shroud in the back, depending on the case, you want to make sure that it has enough space. Another thing to look out for is it's not related to the build itself, but the compatibility with the build. So you want to make sure all the parts are compatible, CPU with the motherboard socket, RAM with the motherboard socket. The motherboard is kind of the heart that connects everything. So you want to make sure everything's compatible with that.
And you guys can help out with that. Or you can use our custom PC builder as well. So actually we have a lot of different tools and a lot of awesome associates who can help you out with that. At this point in the build, here's what I like to do. I'm actually going to put the CPU power first.
Yep, saves a lot of hassle. It's probably the worst port to plug in on a build.
So you see the radiator with the fans, once that gets in here, I'm going to have a really hard time, like, especially with my hands. I have a really hard time getting there. I will say, I like this style of flat cable because this is going to look cleaner than some other cables. So
makes it easier to cable manage too. If it wasn't flat, sometimes the depending on the cable, if it has a net around it or if it's just completely loose, it'll get snagged on things or it'll just get caught up on the pins of the motherboard.
So how long have you been working at Micro Center?
I just started at the new Santa Clara store, so only a couple months.
Right.
But I have a lot of experience building PCs, about 4 years, and it's what I did in high school for most of it.
Oh, really? Exactly. What are you rocking at home right now?
I actually don't have a PC.
What? Okay, get this man out of here. He's done.
Now that I'm at Micro Center, I'm seriously considering getting one.
All right, what are you eyeing up right now? What are you thinking about getting?
I'm considering a budget build that's a really good bang for your buck. So maybe a 5060 or a 9060 XT, pair it with a 7600 XT, something for gaming. And
are you the 7600 X3D or the
X3D? Yeah. And that'll help me get high frames on gaming, especially if I'm going to do 1080p. It's not really the highest end build, but it's going to do the jobs.
I gamed 1080p for a long time. Like, I have no complaints. Like, there's nothing wrong with gaming in 1080p.
Exactly, man.
I only recently, in the last like year and a half, stepped up to like 1440. And while I really do like it, it's more so about the monitor size than it is about the resolution. Because I really wanted a 27-inch monitor, and I knew if I did a 1080 27-inch, that pixel density was going to be a lot.
Exactly. It wouldn't look as high quality.
Yeah. So I really just wanted, the resolution step kind of just made sense. So now that I have that set, I'm thinking I'm going to start working on the cooler. I'm going to get the radiator set. I'm going to get this bracket off here. I really like the 011 Dynamic Evo RGB. I kept saying that out of order, but I really like this Lian Li case because there's a lot of details here that make building a lot easier.
Things like cable management.
Cable management is a big one. Having like brackets for the radiator, brackets for the fans, so you can install them separately and just put the whole unit on as one. What are some things you look for when you're recommending a case to someone?
Again, I mentioned it earlier, the size of the case so that you can actually build with it, but color and the aesthetics, because the case is really what you're going to see when you have your PC. So whether you want something that's really tinted or black or white or pink or has a large RGB or the fish tank, like this one here.
So what's the most common case that you see people get at Micro Center?
Again, the O11D, the Mini ITX Terra by Fractal, and the Fractal North. Those are definitely the highest or the most popular cases that I've seen.
Right.
And for more budget builds, I've seen a lot of the Montech and Inland cases go off the shelves.
Montech's got some really cool cases.
They do, and they're well priced.
So for this part, since I'm gonna get it on the bracket, I just have it hanging off the table. What I like to do is I get the washers and the screws. I'm just gonna do the corners. So what's your favorite build you've seen come out of Micro Center?
I did my first ever build at Micro Center here. The first day we opened too, it was a soft opening. I had a $10,000 Threadripper build. I don't remember exactly what it had, but it had a 5090, 128 gigs of RAM. It was the budget Threadripper, so it was only 2,500 bucks.
Oh, like the 7970X probably?
I think so.
Yeah, that's wild. So someone came all the way for soft opening and then they dropped, wow.
Exactly. It was a fun build, man. And Micro Center had it built here, and I know it's a Threadripper build, but they can handle all sorts of builds, even water cooling builds, hard tubing, soft tubing. They'll get you covered.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us, man. I hope you're having a good time. All right, so right now I am just getting the AIO installed. Matches right up to the 4 posts on the cooler. I'd like to do just a little turn just to get it connected. There we go. And then we'll just do a star pattern. So as we grow Micro Center, and as we have Micro Centers come maybe to a town near you, what are some things that, I don't know, what are you looking forward to the most, right? Is it building a new computer, just being able to browse everything, you know, having a place where you can get all of your 3D printer needs fulfilled? Because I gotta say, having a spot in town where you can get filament is actually really, really nice. Especially for all of those different maker projects. Like, that's just so crucial. And we have so many different filaments available as well. I really love 3D printing, and I think that that's just been exploding over the last decade, so I can see 3D printing being a big draw for a lot of people. Arduino, you know, Raspberry Pi, single board computing, electronics, all of those things. I think those are also some pretty cool things that are just getting more and more niche and harder to get, at least in person. So is that something you're looking forward to, or is it really just being able to build something like this? Let me know in the comments below. I'm just always kind of curious what you guys think. This is Brandon, and if you watch our videos, actually, he was the one I was talking about with the turntable. What did you think about my turntable?
Thought that was quite funny, actually. I actually cracked up when he said that, because like I have a smaller turntable, but he just brings out this gargantuan turntable, and I'm just like, okay, you win, dude, you win.
I wasn't trying to one-up you, I swear.
No, but now that I think about it, I kind of want that turntable.
So I have a bit of a unique problem here. Can you tell me what's wrong?
Oh no.
So the screw popped out of the bracket, because I was trying to do the last screw on the AIO, and I was like, that's weird. Why is it not like attaching to anything? That is so strange.
This thing popped out, huh?
Kind of popped out of this bracket here. Pop it right back in. There you go.
There you go.
So once you get the AIO on there, that, you know, that'll kind of just
You can keep it on.
if I can keep it on.
Through that one first.
Right. So that one. Right. So that one. So tell me, what are some of the cool things that you've seen since we've opened this location?
The cool things that I've seen, well, the really cool stuff is just seeing all the different like influencers coming in.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things. Being able to see Jay's 2 cents today was really awesome. The guy's super chill.
Oh yeah, he's like real nice.
And he has stuff like this too. And he like jerry rigs so many different things. It's really funny.
I mean, these like little unique things do come up when you're building, right?
For sure,
Like these
and
little
you just
quirks.
need to be able to problem solve out of that issue, right?
So what's your advice here?
Well, my advice, when you put it in, I'd screw that one on first. If you bring the camera, if you over tighten here, this side lifts up,
Right.
or at least this side of the AIO,
Right.
and then you're not getting an even torque on all 4 ends of your screws, right?
I always try to get at least like one kind of like half turn. on
I'd
each
say
thread.
like a 3/4 turn is good.
turn,
I'd do,
okay.
or like 1 full turn is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And because like this is a very forgiving setup.
Right. Would you
Well,
repaste?
Yeah, I would.
repaste?
I would, because there's no even paste here, right?
Yeah.
Did you use a spatula too?
No, it came pre-applied, but it
Really?
did come with paste and a spatula.
I would put some paste on there. That's why they give you that paste actually, because they probably want you to put more on.
Yeah.
And then I would just evenly paste with the little spatula, a horizontal line. I'll show you why. Do a horizontal line there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
That's a
really.
line.
That was gorgeous.
Sure.
And then you just go ahead and grab the spatula.
Uh-huh.
And let's go ahead and just
Spread it down.
spread down. Yep. That's it.
Like I'm making a sandwich.
Yep.
Now, we've done the spatula method a couple times on the channel.
I found that it's extremely helpful because you're always going to have like those hot spots. You know what I mean? You have to like get the spatula flat. And that's what gives that nice
Spread.
Yeah, the nice spread. Like this.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
You got that?
it. I'll see you soon, then.
Sounds good.
So from here I can move on. I can start getting all the cables run, at least for the AIO, because there's going to be a bunch of those to get going. Start getting a couple of the other cables and really just kind of try to breeze my way through this build. I knew going into this with these Lee AIOs and all of these fans and everything, you really run out of USB 2.0 headers very fast. So I have this splitter, the Lee splitter. This is a 1-to-3 splitter, so this is going to help free up some of my USB 2.0 ports. I just want to start getting these connected now. So when you start doing a build with this sort of level of complexity with the fans and everything, especially since they all have LCD screens, they all need that USB connection. They all need a lot of power, so you have SATA power. For this connector, you're going to have SATA power running from the AIO. So these are things that you have to take into consideration. And the 1000-watt power supply that I used, that also comes with some extra 8-pin PCIe. Some power supplies, obviously we need the 12-volt 2x6 for our GPU. But sometimes with some configurations of these fans, I don't think we'll have that issue with these Lees. Some of these fans or these controllers actually use a 6-pin or an 8-pin direct from your power supply. So that's going to eat into one of your PCIe cables. So if your power supply doesn't have enough cables to support that, you're actually not going to have a feasible way to make that work. So fortunately, I knew that going into this, so I wanted to make sure I had a power supply that was going to have my 12-volt 2x6, but it's also going to have some extra PCIe in case I need it for any of these other random accessories. So far, it's just SATA. I don't think I'm going to need any PCIe power for the accessories, so we're looking pretty good. But something I really just wanted to call out. So one thing I want to say, if you are planning a build and you want to add some complexity, and when I say complexity, I'm really referring to RGB, some of these fans that have these nifty features, right? Like RGB, LCD screens, all the bells, all the whistles, all the fun things that we love about PC building. When you're going to do a build with all of those things, give yourself time. Really give yourself some time to work on it. You don't want to rush it. You don't want to force it. So right now what I'm doing is I'm taking the initiative to do some routing and cable management before things get really unruly. I like these fans. They snap together. They're really easy to use. They're really easy to work with. These are reverse blade because I want the screen to show. So air intake's going to come here. Air intake's going to be down there. And then I'm going to have one more fan. It's going to be this guy right here, which I'm just going to have right there in the back. So depending on which way you want to put this, you do have to flip this little guy. So that's kind of a... This is the piece that you attach onto here. And so the way I have this routed, all the cables are going to kind of run under this channel right there. So when this goes on the bracket, and then these cables are going to run right underneath with the cables that are running from these fans. So they can all run together to the controller in the back. Now I was already running out of USBs. So I got another USB splitter. Now you can avoid some of this if you get the Lee power supply. The name of the power supply is escaping right now, but you can use that power supply to alleviate some of these USB needs, but that's only going to give you a couple of extra ports. And for this one, I'm going to need a lot of ports. So this adds up really, really fast. I knew when I was picking these parts, I was going to regret all this later. And here I am regretting it later. All right, so it's been a fun day. It's getting a little late here at Micro Center, but the good news is I'm on the tail end of this build. Those 7 fans, a lot of cables. Even with the wireless receiver, there's a lot going on back there. So I'm gonna have Jay's 2 cents try to fix this for me tomorrow. So that'd be kind of fun. But for now, let's just get this to post and we'll go from there. So GPU's ready, and oh boy, is she heavy. I'm gonna work on our covers right back here. So I gotta say, I'm actually kind of excited for this build because I think this is gonna look great. I really like the way that this motherboard looks, and I think paired off, going MSI for the motherboard and the GPU, stylistically, it's gonna look really nice. All these Lianli fans as well, it's overkill. Let's be real, but in a good way. Got a very nice looking GPU right over here. I really like this. This is a clean look. It's got that holographic dragon right there. Cool. All right, so the nice thing about building here at the Knowledge Bar is they have everything pre-run. So this is already set for us to do a post test over here. So I'm just gonna plug this in, and I'll put our monitor in as well. Power supply's on, and let's fire her up. I'm gonna leave the glass off for now, just so we can make sure that everything's looking good. I'm already very happy with the way this came out. RGB looking fantastic as always. Really like the RGB that's on this GPU. You can see it's on the badge here. We have it on the memory right over there. This is awesome. This is an awesome, awesome build. Now, I still have to set up all of the fans, at least the LCD screens on there. I have to get all the software installed and everything configured, but at least right off the bat, you can see this is a pretty good looking build. So give me some time to get this thing up and running. And I don't know, let's see what Jay thinks. So we got the build all finished up, and I'm pretty happy with the way this came out. It ran really long yesterday, so I'm gonna finish this. But first, let's invite our special guest, Jay's 2 cents.
Hey, Jordan.
How you doing?
So what do we got here?
This is the build that we did here in Santa Clara. I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. It ran a little bit long.
I do like the very subtle Micro Center.
Micro Center blue, man.
and every single LCD screen on the those are Lianli fans, right?
Yep, Lianli fans. We got the Galahad over there with the LCD. We really like to lean into the usage of our logo.
Okay.
But the build ran long, and that happens.
Yeah.
So I was hoping maybe you can give me a little bit of help with some cable management.
Nope.
So that about wraps it up for our PC build here at the Santa Clara Micro Center. And yes, I did fix the cables, by the way. I'll send a picture to Jay so he knows that this PC is looking really good. It took a lot of time because there were 2 USB 2.0 splitters. So that's going from the 2 ports on the motherboard to 6 USB 2.0 headers. There is a lot of USB that you need to make all of this work. And I don't even have streamers on this build, so that's a lot. Overall, I'm very happy with this build. The aesthetic quality is fantastic. First of all, this O11 looks really good. The MSI motherboard paired with the MSI 5070 Ti, it looks so good. I mean, you have the holographic dragon emblem over here. I went with the Micro Center blue for the RGB all across the build. So you have it there on the memory, you have it on the AIO, GPU, motherboard, fans, and of course, we have the Micro Center logo on all of the LCD screens, but you can customize those screens to whatever you want because this build will be available for purchase at the Santa Clara Micro Center. So come on by, why don't you check it out? Maybe you can pick this up for yourself. And remember, always stop by your local Micro Center. And if you don't have a Micro Center near you, then be sure to comment hashtag I want a Micro Center near me. I promise you the shot looks good at least. Look, it's attached to the cart so you can see. You can wave.
I did
Yeah,
my all
you
white
did
bit
it?
yesterday because when I watched
saw
the
your
video
comment,
with
by
the
the way.
9060,
I saw
yeah,
you-
I bought all my stuff yesterday.
You guys work closely with service a lot, right?
We do. I like to hang out with them.
Yeah, that's why he's hanging out here right now.
Exactly right.
Oh my God, I'm dropping screws
Bro, what's
everywhere.
wrong with you?
It's amateur hour over here. Business in the front, party in the back. And he's not gonna like this party. I'm gonna get you. There we go.
Oh, he's in trouble.